Welcome to the Nürburgring, to the Nordschleife, or as Jackie Stewart once called it, the Green Hell. Arguably the greatest 12.9 miles of racetrack on Earth. And if you're going to get your rocks off properly at a Nürburgring track day, of which there are quite a few to choose from nowadays, you need the right car to do it in. One that's quite a lot like the Hyundai i30 Fastback you see here. So let's set the nav to Stefan Bellhoff-Strasse, Nürburgring, Germany, 433 miles away. And it's going to take 9 hours and 1 minute. So I better get going. The i30 felt quiet, comfortable, and just utterly civilised on the 400-mile journey towards the ring itself. And as the Eiffel Mountains eventually came into view at the end of a long day on the road, the excitement properly began to build. And as you get nearer to the circuit, the roads just get better and more beautiful.
And the engineers actually use these roads an awful lot to test these cars. I know there's a lot of cred about being developed on the Nürburgring, but be under no illusion, all the manufacturers come to these roads to develop their cars on them because they're just so good. And I have to say the i30 Fastback is feeling a bit tasty amongst the Eiffel Mountains. The e-diff just works beautifully on this car, especially on the road. I'm still in normal mode because that's how you drive this car on the road. I'm going to save the N button for the track tomorrow, but look, if you ever come to the Nürburgring, make sure you come to the Eiffel Mountain roads as well as the ring itself. You will not regret it, I promise you.
But there was one last thing I needed to do, and that was to see how quick the i30 could go down an Autobahn.
The #1 Autobahn is absolutely the perfect piece of road. Hyundai themselves come and test here. So all right, let's see what it will do. 146, 148, 151. Oh my word, it's still going. 163, 165, 168, 168 miles an hour. I tell you what, it feels solid as a rock at this speed. I mean, you go past objects pretty swiftly, but the stability is awesome.
So as the sun rose and all the other cars from our RSR organised track day began to arrive, the sense of anticipation became more and more palpable. Even though I've done quite a few laps of this track, you learn stuff from that guy. And all these people who pay their money, it's just invaluable advice. Anyway, I better go and catch them up.
If you do something wrong, if you're not in sync with what the car wants to do, and you come off that curb, and imagine the right-hand side of the car is in the air. Absolutely in the air, and you want to steer to the left, what happens? It's a bit rough, huh?
Here we go then. Lap the Nürburgring in the i30 Fastback N on this RSR track day. Oh, it's just first few corners. The first few corners, you can feel the e-diff just really doing its thing. I love the front end on this car, I really do. It just gives you so much faith. And that's how Hyundai have set this car up. They, by their own admission, they have not set this i30 up to be absolutely on the limit fast, because they know it is going to be driven by not regular punters, but regular enthusiasts. So therefore not people who are necessarily super talented racing drivers, but people who don't want to scare themselves stupid, but do want to have some fun. So the way they've set the aero up, for example, there's a little bit more downforce at the back than there is at the front. And that's just that it's got a nice friendly balance through the quick corners, like this one here, the Flugplatz. And it just gives you faith. The car feels completely on your side. And we're just coming up to the defining corner, I guess, for the i30 N full stop. It is called Schweidenkreuz. And Albert Biermann insisted that the N cars felt predictable and not terrifying, specifically through Schweidenkreuz. And that is exactly how it feels. You can totally commit to the throttle and to your turning speed. And it feels mega, it feels pin. But it doesn't feel terrifying. It's a really great combination. And then you can ride curbs like that in it as well. Oh, I have to say, this car feels a bit tasty around here. It just feels at home on the ring. Metzgerfeld. Commit. Commit. Brakes too. The ring is not a massively heavy circuit on brakes. There are areas where you really need them to be on your side, but you're not murdering the brakes the whole way around the lap. But when you do murder them, the pedal is there, bang. And the stopping power is pretty tidy as well. Oh, this thing is just brilliant on this track. Obviously I'm in N mode, because we are on the Nürburgring. And actually it feels quite lively over some of those bumps, because the ring is bumpy in places. The quickest cars are set up to ride the curbs in quite a few places, and if you're too stiff, you're too bumpy, you're in trouble. But inevitably they've got the balance just about right, I'd say. Really like the steering on this car as well. You only got 2 turns lock to lock, so it's pretty lively on the gearing. See what I mean by the way you can muller those curbs. Some hot hatches would just be all over the shop over those curbs. Oh, down towards Brunchen. Very easy to get very wrong, this bit of the track, because it's not that quick. You've got to be quite precise through here. Very easy to overdo it on the way in and then run out of road on the way out. The ice curve. I reckon the most technical corner on the circuit, actually, that. And now we're coming up to the Flansgarten. The jump. Little bit of air, quite nice. Beautifully damped on the way down when it hit that bump. You know what this car feels like it would be? Just really lovely to do a 24-hour race in, because it's not stressing you out too much. It's still carrying loads of speed, but because of the way they've set it up to be this kind of friendly, fast, not edgy, but still involving driver's car. You just don't feel like you're teetering around on the edge anywhere or at any speed. Take it easy through here, Sutters, because this is where you can have a big off by running out of room too soon at the exit. And now onto the main straight. Well, we know what it does. It does 168 miles an hour, but it ain't going to do that down this straight. That is 2 laps of the ring. And I have to admit, I think this thing feels flipping marvellous. It's really good. It feels absolutely at home on this track. And there are plenty of very good road cars, fast road cars, that don't. However many gillions they've spent developing this car on this track, they were worth it. It is blinding.
When we first came 16 years ago, it was a lot quieter than it is now on a tourist day. We learnt by taking the map. The passenger had the map and we were turning the map around. It's a very different place now, and I wouldn't like to try and start again.
I feel out here, the guy who has the maximum respect is not the guy in the biggest car, but the guy who's got the most amount of skill. Have fun. Don't let your ego decide how you drive.
There's nothing like Nordschleife here. This is the most dangerous, the scariest of them all. Gives you the most reward if you finish a good lap. There's just nothing like it. And the people that are here, it's just great. The whole atmosphere here can't be beaten.
Be in no doubt, this is an extremely special place if you're a car nut. And if you do go to this magical place just once in your life, you will want to come back. Because when this place gets into your veins, there's no turning back.